Hello, welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll talk about how to calculate z-score both by hand and by using StatCrunch. So as we know that the z-score is a very important concept in our Stat 211 class. You know that the z-score is calculated by using a fraction. The numerator equal to the data value you're looking at minus the mean of the distribution, and the denominator is the standard deviation. You'll see this formula on my notes or your professor's notes. And let's look at example how to calculate z-scores. So I'll do that in this single step in Excel. This just show you like when you type into your calculator, you might do the parentheses, the value, calculate. We have a normal model has mean 565 and standard deviation 123. We need to calculate z-score for 985. So the 985 is our data value. And then we minus our mean is 565. Parentheses, that's our numerator. And then we divide it by our denominator, which is the standard deviation, 123. And this is my z-score, 3.41. I'll copy my z-score right here. So you will see that this is my result. And then calculate z-score for 311. 311, we're going to use the same formula. Okay, z-score equal to our numerator is data value. Now we're looking at 311 minus our mean, which is 565. Now this is our numerator, then divided by the standard deviation 123. Our z-score is negative now. Let's copy this. Okay. And then we're calculating the z-score for 565. You might already know that this is equal to 0 because 565 is the data value minus the mean 565 can be 0. 0 divided by anything, still 0, right? Divided by 1, 3, 0, yes, just as what we expect. So here we got the z. So as you look at the z-score here's the important property. The z-score could be positive, negative, and 0. If the data value you look at is equal to your mean, it has a z-score 0. If a value have a z-score positive, which means this number is this many standard deviation above your mean. So this number just means 985 is 3.4 standard deviation above the mean. And 311 means this number, 311, is 2.1 standard deviation below our mean. So positive means above the mean, negative means below the mean. If you remember this formula, it's very easy to do it by hand. But sometimes if you want to verify if you remember the correct formula, you can try StatCrunch. So when you're using StatCrunch to calculate the z-score, you need to go to calculator, normal, because we're looking at the normal model. And another property you also need to know is the z-score has a normal distribution with mean 0 and standard deviation 1. That's where we can use StatCrunch to calculate z-score. To do this, we need to two windows. Calculator, normal. We're opening up two panels for calculating z-score. the first one put out the means 565 and the standard deviation 1, 2, 3. So our first number is 985. 985. Okay, so when you're using StatCrunch, you want to make sure, compare the value you're looking at to your mean. 985 is greater than the mean, so we're going to flip this sign to greater. So we're going to do 985. And make sure those two windows have the same signs. So you're going to go to the next window, greater sign. This normal model has a mean 0 and a standard deviation 1. So we're using this to calculate z-score, as I just told you that z-score has a normal distribution with mean 0 and standard deviation 1. Okay. And when you do your calculation, the z-score will show on this box. So how do you fill up this box in order to get this value? That's what we do in this box. So we put the mean, the standard deviation, the value we're looking at, greater than our mean. So we use greater sign on both panels. And then we do compute on the first one. We got this probability. So we're going to put this probability into this window, this box here. We can get a z-score right here. Okay, let's copy this value and put it here and compute. This is our z-score compared to the one we calculate by hand. Well, you can see, okay, it's 3.4146331. 3.4146331. 341. Yeah, 331. It's just slightly off. Maybe the StatCrunch did something, rounding or what, but you know that it's quite accurate, right? And let's try another number, is 311. 311 is less than our mean, so let's do less than our mean. Less than our mean, 311. Do this to less than 2. Okay, make sure those two boxes have the same sign. Now we need to fill in this probability here. So we compute. We got the probability right here, and we can copy this and put it here. So we got negative 2.065. Negative 2.065. So we have the same result. When your value is equal to 565, to your mean 565, it doesn't matter which side do you use because you can have the same result. So the 0.5, so we do 0.5, we paste our 0.5 right here, then we can calculate the z. Know that the z is 0. This is our 0.5, the error. This is the z. 0 is right here. If you do greater sign, still 0.5, right? If flip to greater sign, 0.5 is still 0. So actually, when the value is equal to the mean, you don't have to do anything. Just know that it's the 0 because in the z normal distribution, the 0 is in the middle, and in your distribution, the mean is in the middle. Those two numbers corresponds. So the mean must have a 0 z-score. And that's how you do it in StatCrunch and also calculate by hand. I hope you learned something and enjoyed. See you next time.